Yo, rant video. I haven't done a video in a while because I've been busy. Yeah. Anyways, this is just discussing the recent change that Bushiroad has implemented. To kind of do a Yu-Gi-Oh-esque ban list of sorts. For those of you who don't know, I'll put the link in the description of the website that says it, but basically, they made it so that there are cards where you can only play two of in a deck, but as in, you can only have a total of two of those cards, of any of those sorts of cards in a deck. So, say that this was Dragonic Overlord at the end, Conroe's on the list. So I could either play one Conroe, one this, two Conroes, none of this, or two Overlord at the end, and no Conroe. So the cards that are on that list are Conroe, Dragonic Overlord at the end, Majesty Lord Blaster, Wingar Brave, King of Knights Alfred, and then Godhawk Ishibiyoshi, Goddess of the Full Moon Tsukiyomi, and Silent Tom. So, I don't know. I mean, for one thing, I know that a lot of people are angry, and I'm a Kagero player, so I was pretty salty. But honestly, I mean, Dragonic Overlord at the end is just so broken, and with this, you either lose Conroe, which does a lot for the deck, or you lose the ability to do the dual twin drive, which was what made Dragonic Overlord at the end so good. So yeah, they kind of just took away what made Dragonic Overlord at the end really good, which was probably deserved because it is such a really good card. And Majesty Lord Blaster is pretty amazing as well, not gonna lie. I mean, it's so easy to get the two blasters in the soul, and then from there it has default +1 grit, and that's just really really dumb, honestly. I mean, if they let that hit, then they're in trouble. And unlike Dayusha, where the clan, I should say, is kind of just not that good in general, Royal Paladin's still a really good clan, and you'll have Palamede Sync on the side as well, just to hit for some more damage. So really, that was too overpowered, and it just created this sort of power creep where everything around was getting more powerful just to compete. So I think that those two definitely deserve to get hit. As to whether it was the right way to hit them, I mean, time will tell. They could have just... I think that it's actually better they didn't just ban Dragonic Overlord at the end and ban Majesty Lord Blaster, because at least with this, the decks are still playable in the sense that you can play them, but they just aren't anywhere near as competitive, anywhere near as broken. I mean, you can play one Wingar Brave, one MLB, but that's not going to be consistent at all. You lose King of Knights Alfred, and if you damage check the Majesty Lord, then that's pretty much GG, because you're never going to get that back. So yeah, you just have to be aware of those things. Onto OTT, I think that them hitting OTT was just completely ridiculous. Not just because of this, my wonderful OTT pages. Look at this. Can't even use this now. These as well. Yeah, I just think it's pretty dumb. I mean, Silent Tom is a busted card, do not get me wrong. Silent Tom is definitely probably the best rear guard in the game, I would say. Silent Tom and Palamede, for me, are just the best rear guards in the game. They are so good, and even though Silent Tom is 8k, it's still ridiculous. I mean, most people after set 5 don't play, they don't max Silent Tom anyway, because Silent Tom isn't that good if they have a default 13 Vanguard, it can't really do much without a trigger. But even so, just as a card, it is sheer retardedness. So Tom to 2 is fair enough. I mean, for Tsukuyomi, why that got hit is completely beyond me. I don't fathom that at all. I mean, the deck is good. It's a solid deck, but for me, it definitely did not deserve to get this treatment. Cause now, I mean, it's like the MLB situation where you can play one Godhawk, one Tsukuyomi, and and you lose Silent Toms if you do that. I mean, it's just definitely not worth it. Most people, the large majority of people, were playing Soulless anyway, because that's just a more consistent deck. So this is definitely the nail in the coffin for Tsukuyomi. Now, the only options for OTT are really Soulless and Amaterasu Cross Ride. Oh yeah, and Battle Sisters maybe. Um, yeah, I guess Battle Sisters, but I mean, I'm disappointed because I really love Tsukuyomi as a deck. I think that it is just a great deck, and it's one of the most skillful decks to use. It gives a different aspect to the game that really Vanguard kind of lacks, because it helps to remove the luck element. You know what you're gonna get, which is great, and it requires patience and correct thinking, which is completely different to something like Gold Paladin, where you just very fast paced, you just play stuff and win. Um, so I like the deck a lot, and I really hope that they either don't bring this change into the English game, or they bring it back in the Japanese game soon, because I really want to keep playing Tsukuyomi. I don't want the change to kill the deck, 'cause I really don't think that it deserves it. Um, so yeah, I think that Kagero and Royal Paladins deserve to get hit, much to my chagrin, because I have Kageros built. Um, Oracles did not deserve. Well, Silent Tom did, but Tsukuyomi did not deserve to get hit. Note that these changes aren't, at the time of filming, scheduled to be made in the English game. So, if I think that it'll happen when Set 5 is released. But for now, you can still play all these decks. So, English players, I don't know, don't kill yourselves yet. The problem for me is that they only did half the job in a sense, because Gold Paladins and Aqua Force, I guess, are still around, and that that's really Konami-esque. I mean, Bushiroad are much better than Konami, but it really just definitely was a marketing strategy, because Gold Paladins are the new deck. It's the one that sells. So, and yeah, that they're ridiculously broken. I mean, the Azal Cross Ride is for me just easily the best Vanguard in the game, along with well, now obviously not Overlord the End because it's been hit. But if you could play 4 Overlord the End, then for me that would be up there as well, because its ability is just absolutely ridiculous. It has such an amazing ability. Like, I could spend a video just ranting about how good Platinum Ezel is, but now that is really the only thing that's left. Aquaforce are pretty much what I would say up there with GP, because they're a really good deck as well, and they have the Cross Ride, Maelstrom Cross Ride, so they can compete. They can be on that level. Narukamis, I don't really know how they'll fare. I mean, I have all the Narukami stuff, but for me, the deck is just it was a worse Kagero, and Dragonic Vermillion the Blood, or whatever its name is. For me, it's just underwhelming. I guess I didn't like its effect that much. I mean, it's good. It's a solid effect, but for me, being an Ultima Break or whatever they're calling it, it just doesn't compare to Platinum Ezo and whatever Maelstrom's gonna do. Maelstrom is obviously gonna be retarded, and even just something like Convicting Jailer Chrome Dragon or whatever that thing is called. I mean, that card is nuts. That is ridiculous. Spectral Duke is still around as well. That's gonna be really good. So for me, it's just gonna be Gold Paladins dominating from here on out with Aquaforce. Aquaforce can go up there, I believe. Narukami maybe needs some more support. just to really give them a more solid strategy than they have now. Now I don't think that they really have a winning image as such in comparison to Kagero. They just seem like a worse Kagero. And I've done a lot of testing with both, so I know that Narukami's are just the worst Kagero, which is bad. It's bad for them. Bad for me because I don't want to play Gold Paladins. Nova Grapplers, I guess, could be a dark horse because the Azure Dragon Crossride is pretty good. And even the Perfect Riser build can hit pretty hard, so I think the Nova Grapplers can be an unexpected kind of force in the meta. But I mean, other than that, like, it's just gone back to having clans that really cannot compete. Like, you know, you see some of these, just can't compete. How can any of these compete now? So yeah, that's pretty much the rant. Yeah, I'm just flicking through my binder while I'm doing this. I don't really know why. This isn't complete. It's going to be filled with Kagero stuff. Obviously going to be filled with Kagero stuff. But yeah, overall, I think that this is a change that they had to make. But I think that if they were looking solely for the good of the game, then they would have hit Gold Paladins, definitely. Or not made Platinum Ezel and stuff like that. Made it a lot worse than it is. Because I don't think that crossrides aren't inherently broken. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Crossrides aren't broken. It's the effects of the crossrides that make them broken. Like, Phantom Blast Overlord, it's a crossride, but it is not broken. It is not a broken card. It's solid. It's okay. At best, I would say it's pretty bad actually. Its effect isn't that good. So it isn't because it's a crossride. Dragonic Overlord, the End Platinum Ezel, they're broken because their effects are just so good. That's what makes them broken. And I don't think that everything getting a crossride, it's a power creep, and I don't really like power creeps. But I don't think that it inherently ruins the game as long as they don't make any more just retardedly OP crossrides, like they did with Overlord the End and Majesty Lord Blaster. I know people don't count Majesty Lord Blaster as a crossride, but it is. Get over it. So for them to hit them is obviously the correct thing to do for the game. Against hitting Tsukuyomi was retarded. It's just a very, very stupid decision. But oh well. And yeah, Gold Paladins will continue to be used in the anime, and Kageros and Royal Paladins won't, because I guess that they'll just become part of Narukami and Gold Paladin. So they have an easy way to play it off in the anime. They can just kill the decks off, and it's fine. It's just natural progression. But they should have hit Gold Paladins definitely. And yeah, if you're a Kagero player like me, then you're gonna be quite peeved at this change. But it was for the better. I think that this was the right decision. Just only some of the right decision, because now it's pretty much a 2-deck race from here on out, and that's bad. Well, it's okay. It isn't terrible. It's I prefer when there's a bit of diversity, because this isn't a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you can side deck or anything like that. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Diversity isn't as good for the professional or the higher caliber player, because you don't want randomness. You want to be prepared for everything. In Vanguard, it doesn't really work like that because you can't really side, and it will just be standard GP versus standard Aquaforce. I don't think there'll be many techs or anything like that. So yeah, diversity is good in a game like Vanguard. And just honestly, just having 2 decks in the game, it's gonna get boring. Like every locals are just gonna be, well, every locals already is Gold Paladins, but now it's just gonna be Gold Paladins and Aquaforce, and it's just gonna be this this boring thing. Anyways, we'll see what Bushiroad does. This is my opinion, so if you think that I'm completely wrong, if you think that Dragonic Overlord the End and Majesty Lord Blaster shouldn't have got hit, or that Tsukuyomi should have got hit, if you think that Tsukuyomi deserved to get hit, I don't really know why you would think that. other than the fact that the ride chain is really good, as in terms of plus. I guess that's their only justification for doing it, is that you could just generate so much plus off the ride chain that really just became unfair with the kind of ride chains that they want to have. Um, but other than that, I don't think that Tsukiyomi should have been hit. If you think that, you know, I don't know, like gold, it won't just be gold paladins and Aqua Force. If you think that there's another deck that can keep up, if you think that they did the complete right decision or the complete wrong decision, then, you know, just comment or something. Because I think that this is interesting. It's an interesting thing. It's a big movement in the game. Um, Obviously, Bartgar was previously the only card to have been banned as such, and obviously, you know, that was a step in the right direction. And Bushiroad, they aren't like Konami. They handle their game a lot better. But I think there are good things and bad things about this decision. Mostly good things, but a couple of bad things. So, yeah, it ran on for a bit, but you know what? That's cool. Feel free to just leave a comment or whatever, and do whatever. I don't really care. If you have Dragonic Hides of Vermillions and you're in UK, then inbox me, because I want 2 more. And a Wyvern Guard Gold as well, the Flash Guard. Maybe some Nova Grappler stuff as well. If you're looking for Kagero stuff or OTT stuff, I don't know why you would after this video. I mean, I don't know, you can still play Goku or something like that. Goku's fairly playable, but or Lawkeeper, yeah. Anyways, yeah, if you're looking for any of that sort of stuff, then just hit me up and we'll see. We'll work something out. But other than that, this has been a very long and weird video. So see you.